What's up, guys? I got the keys here, back with another video. So today my topic is the eye of the storm, right? You hear this term a lot, you hear this sentence, and I think if you really start to look at the things that we say to each other sometimes and stuff like that, there's so much wisdom just in the words we say to each other, right? And especially in the space between those words, right? Because that's where the real truth is. And so the eye of the storm, right? So if you've watched my past videos, I've told you before about spirit, right? Spirit is spiraling energy, right? And what does that look like? It looks like a cyclone, right? Or a storm, tornado, right? It's a cyclical energy. So the cyclone, the cycle of one, right? The Holy One. So you are the cyclical one, looping, right? The eternal dragon. So it's like this. You are the eye, right? The eye of the storm, right? The great I am. And so you are in the center of the storm, the spiral above your head, right? Right here in your brain, okay? So your mind's eye, or the pineal gland in your head, is a receiver of energy, right? It receives information from above, right? And so source is always giving us direction, but sometimes we cut ourselves off from that connection with drugs, with alcohol, with too much eating, with just not being in our heart center even, right? Because you can't connect to source without love. And so a lot of the times when we're really far in our mind and we're not really paying attention to our heart, because we have to have both in coherence with each other, right? They work with each other. So the mind is your power, but the love is the magic, right? To bring it in. So it's like this. It's like you are quite literally energy. So I am, right? I am. And it's spiraling above you, okay? Or you can go down if that's your path. I wouldn't recommend that, but it happens sometimes. And but again, this term is like, we say this all the time, and I don't think people mean it this way, but it's just something I caught on to, right? And it's like, that's really what it is. You are quite literally a storm, but not in a bad way, and what do storms usually involve, right? Lightning, electricity, right? And that's what you are, an electrical being. You have a charge within you. This is why, like, when you touch a door or something, you get shocked. That's an electrical transfer. Or when you touch somebody else even, right? You guys shock each other. How is that possible if you don't have any energy within you, right? So this storm that is constantly around you, and it's spiraling around you, right? Dropping in, spiraling around the body, bringing in light, okay? I mean, that's like what's bringing everything into your aura, right? All the energy from the heavens, right? Because it's as above, so below. So if the heavens are in the so-called sky, even though this is an illusion, your head is heaven. So you're bringing in energy from heaven down into the body, right? And then that energy is planted within you. And you use that to create, you use that to receive information from source, right? Or God. And so those intuitive hits you get of like you get a thought all of a sudden and you're like, wow, I just had like an epiphany, right? Or, I understand this now. Or, something just comes to you that you've been like waiting to figure out or something, right? And all of a sudden it just comes to you and you're like, and now I know. But how did you know? Because you already knew before, but now Source is reminding you, right? And again, when I say Source or God, this is not separate from you, because you are it, right? You are Source, okay? So it goes like this. You are the created, right? The body. You are the creation and the creator. So you are a three-part being. Body, mind, soul, right? So even though you are not the actual, you're not the body, because you're not taking it with you, but you are the body at this moment, right? You're experiencing it. So not every soul gets to get a body, guys. And there's a lot of power in this. And the whole goal of Earth is to experience love and to experience ourselves, right? I know it might sound stupid to some of you, but you have to think, if God was everything, all-knowing, right, and has already done everything, what would be the point in God existing? Please tell me. So God is an infinite energy, which means it experiences itself in multiple realities, bodies, types of beings, right? It can create anything because it is love. It's the ultimate force of the universe, right? So without love, nothing exists. But there's power in nothing, because nothing is still something. And I know that can be hard to comprehend, but once you really experience it through meditation or, whatever your thing is that happens to you, it might just randomly come to you. For me, it was a lot of plant medicine, and, after plant medicine, I just really wanted to know how I could feel like that all the time. Not out of my mind high, but just like, in that higher perception of, awareness. And like, I wanted to be able to feel my body like that. I wanted to be able to feel the energy flowing through me. And so I started doing meditation. I started doing breath work. I started just researching and just finding whatever I could to help me, right? And I mean, I don't recommend just, sucking in a ton of information, because the more concepts you kind of pull into yourself, right, you can kind of get lost in that. But guys, this, sorry about that. The energy that's spiraling in, right, that is your power, okay? That is direct information from Source, direct wisdom, right? So this energy is coming through, right? You're thinking it, right? It's like a radio, okay? It's coming in, transmitting to the brain, and then you're bringing it in from the brain. Then you're feeling with an intention through the heart, right? Okay? And then it manifests. So the energy can be negative or positive. That doesn't mean bad or good necessarily. But like I said, that you are the eye of the storm. You are the creator, okay? You are spirit, energy, okay? And bringing that energy through yourself to materialize that spirit, right? So, I mean, it's spirit over matter, always. But spirit and matter are also one, okay? They're not separate things. And this is where we get, kind of mixed up sometimes, because we think that, oh, well, material isn't, we don't need the material you know, blah blah blah. Like a lot of people will tell you, you know, you're not of this world, but you're in it, right? Which is true, okay, but that doesn't mean you have to deprive yourself of material things. That doesn't mean that, like, yeah, you shouldn't have an attachment to those things, right? Like, you should be able to disconnect yourself from those things. Like, if they went out of your life, you'd be okay with that, right? But at the same time, that doesn't mean that you don't desire to have nice things. That doesn't mean that you don't desire to have that nice car or that nice house, right? Or anything like that. So I really don't, like, I'm not trying to judge people that do that, but I just don't think that's right to tell people, oh, you shouldn't desire material things, or you know, blah blah blah. Guys, we're here to experience and enjoy life. If material things help you enjoy life, there's nothing wrong with that. But like I said, you don't want to become only attached to material things. You want to be attached to your soul, and that's it. And through your soul, you bring in all of that, right? So again, be the cyclone, be the eye of the storm, be your highest self whenever you can, right? At all times. And like I said, I know that I shouldn't have said all times, because you really can't be your higher self all the time. You know, you still have an ego, so you're going to use your ego to move through the world, and that's not wrong. So that's another thing. Nothing wrong with your ego, but use your ego to your advantage. And yeah, so I'm just gonna leave it there, because I think I covered everything, and I hope it helped you in some way. I hope that you grabbed some information out of it, and I hope that you know, can find yourself and find what you love to do, right? So with that being said, I wish you guys the best, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.